What is it with bad boy artists getting shot or ending up in prison?
Both communities are mourning the death of the rapper known
It's not a matter of, turning your back on me. Like, how do you call a witness to testify against your comrade?
Since Diddy started his career as a music exec in 1993, most of the people in his circle have met with untimely death, or have had their careers ruined forever. But why does murder and mayhem follow Diddy everywhere he goes?
Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
Before Diddy became a big-time music executive, he worked as a backup dancer. That was until 1990, when the then 20-year-old got a job with music mogul Andre Harrell under his new label, Uptown Records.
For Jodeci Tonight, Mary J. Blige, and Father MC. And all put together by, first this man in the middle here, and then he's passed it on to, I guess, his son, Protege. Yes. Puffy. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about this man and why you like working with him.
Because, he's not intimidated by you, you know what I'm saying? He knows the importance of leaving a legacy behind. Because we need more adults out there that's going to teach the young, such as myself, and, basically leave a legacy behind, leave something behind,
And Andre, tell me a little bit about, if you didn't know the Andre Harrell over here in the middle, and people have been talking about you, I've been reading about you in the New York Times, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out here that hadn't heard of you before, but they saw that article in the Times and said, okay, the young man's doing something. Because, this guy always asks me what's my age. He want to know what everybody's doing, how old they are. Andre, what's happening? Tell me about the new ventures that are going on at MTA.
Well, what we did, we just made a vertically integrated deal, which means that we do film, television, and records. And what we are able to do now is take our record stars and cross them in television and film, like a Heavy D. He'll have a television show next year and a film the following year.
Andre Harrell, Puff Daddy, see y'all in a minute.
Kim Porter, who was Andre's assistant at the time, was also brought into the label to work on the newly signed artists. Heavy D was the first major star of this group, bringing the hip-hop scene to an even bigger audience in those early days, and introducing young Puffy into the world of the music business.
The executive, he really is a very artistic guy. He can make videos, he can style. So I started to branch out in the movies and the television. So then Puff wouldn't really listen to anybody but me. So my full-time job became managing Puff. And I was doing other things. So even when I let Puff go, for the whole time he was let go, he was always on payroll. I never stopped paying him until he found his next spot. His artists were always still getting per diem. Because I didn't do it to hurt him, but I knew it was time for him to grow. And the only way he could grow was if he was going to have the same kind of corporate conversations that I was subjected to.
However, Puff's relationship with Harrell would only last about 3 years before he got fired. By the time he left Uptown Records in 1993, he went on to create the label that has become a vital part of his legacy, Bad Boy Records. Here's where things get a little creepy though. You see, since Diddy burst into the scene, his path has been filled with a lot of bodies. And although there's no evidence that he had anything to do with it, most of the people who worked with Diddy are either dead, in prison, or they almost died and barely made it out alive. A good example is Andre Harrell himself, who died of a heart attack in 2020.
Uptown Records passed. Andre Harrell died late Thursday at his home in California. Harrell gave rapper Sean Puff Daddy Combs his first big break. Harrell reportedly died from heart failure. He was only 59 years old.
Andre wasn't the only one who lost his life this way. Back in 2021, Bad Boy record artist Black Rob also suddenly died after suffering a cardiac arrest.
I don't know where to begin this, but I thank everybody for the donations.
But unlike Andre Harrell, Rob didn't exactly sign out like a champ. Just days before his death, Rob was hospitalized due to kidney failure, and then he posted this video.
Pain is crazy, man. It's helping me out though, man. It's making me realize
I got a lot to go, man. A lot to go on, man. Man.
How you feel about X?
I feel everything about X, man. X well loved, man. Positive. X is big love to X, man. It's all, man. All right.
But how did a top hip-hop act signed by Diddy lose all his money and ended up homeless? That part of the story began on November 22nd, 2004, when Rob was arrested for breaking into a woman's hotel room to steal her cash and jewelry. After dragging the case on for about 2 years, Rob was finally sentenced to 2 to 6 years in prison. Apparently, after Rob ended up behind the slammer, Diddy decided he didn't want anything to do with him anymore. Even after he got out of prison 4 years later, Rob and Diddy never saw eye to eye, right until the day he died.
Do you still have a relationship with Puff?
Nah, man, but you know, I ain't got no beef with him. Like, you know, it ain't no beef, it ain't no beef or nothing.
While some believe that Diddy was trying to protect the money by keeping Rob away, many members of the hip-hop community believe that Diddy threw Rob under the bus.
With Rob, Diddy reached out and was like, he was gonna, do something for Rob. This is when the video first went up, him in the hospital. You know what I mean? But, people dragging their feet and nothing got done. So now, we're paying for his funeral, do this, that. He's dead and gone now. Everybody want to do something for you when you dead and gone. I'm the one that was in the hospital and put him on video and it went viral. I did that. I was there with him. A lot of people that could have helped didn't help. You know what I mean? That's why I put the video up to show like everybody want to keep hush hush, but he's not getting no help. Who gonna put $200,000-$300,000 behind his man? I mean, like, they'll take that money. That $200,000-$300,000 gonna buy a car or finance or at least a Rolls Royce or Lamborghini to ride around, look pretty. You know what I'm saying? That's something for them. You can't tell people what to do with their money. But a lot of people that was in position could have helped and they didn't, and it was too late because he passed away Saturday, a week less than DMX.
As soon as Rob was dead, Diddy took to Instagram to mourn his former artist with a post that read, "Rest in power, King, at the real Black Rob. As I listen to your records today, there's one thing they all have in common. You have made millions of people all over the world feel good and dance." Not surprisingly though, the post only attracted more and more backlash his way. But this wasn't the only tragedy tied to Diddy.
A few times I thought I was gonna pass out because it was hot on that staircase. You know what I'm saying? And when they closed the doors, I knew something was going down.
City College was a deep experience for me. I was there, I was on the floor, I watched people take their last breath, regurgitate, and die.
Okay, you said a female?
Yes, a female.
Of asthma?
Yes, she had an asthma attack?
Uh-huh.
She passed out unconscious. They can't revive her.
Back in December of 1991, Puffy and Heavy D organized a charity basketball game in New York, which ended on a very tragic note.
It started out as a basketball match between rap stars. The Heavy D and Puff Daddy charity basketball game benefited.
The problem is that there's people inside the gymnasium that does not have no pulse and is not breathing.
You know, when over 5,000 people show up to a stadium that can only handle 2,500, that's a recipe for disaster. Although Puff and the security guards tried keeping the excess people outside, they ended up breaking the glass doors and rushing into the building. Unfortunately, this led to a stampede, which left 9 people dead while the players just kept playing.
You could actually hear when somebody died because you would hear it. They would, and then you wouldn't hear anymore. You would hear bodies voices overlapping each other, and then you would hear dead silence. And meantime, in the background, all you hear is the ball bounce.
Everybody that knew somebody, or if you didn't know anybody, just seeing what was going on, was crying, hysterical, being held. I mean, if you see footage, exactly what you see is exactly what was going on.
Although Diddy did not face any charges after this huge tragedy, some people believe that this was one of the reasons he got fired from Uptown Records. As for Heavy D, he also died in 2011 after a blood clot formed in his leg during the flight from London to LA.
He was found lying unconscious in his driveway today at his Beverly Hills home at around 11 a.m. and was rushed to the hospital and pronounced dead at around 1 p.m.
The Los Angeles hospital after being found unconscious, and then he passed away following his arrival at the medical facility.
Although the authorities claim that Heavy D's death wasn't orchestrated by anyone, many people still point accusing fingers at Diddy for some reason. With everything that has been coming out lately, they may or may not be wrong. But perhaps the most infamous cases of the Diddy curse would be the deaths of the friends turned rivals, Tupac and Notorious B.I.G.
He took me out of a dangerous game, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I was selling drugs real hard, you know? When I got the record deal, all I got cut short, so it's like he Jesus to me, you know what I'm saying? Because he just saved me, and it's real.
The gimmick shit just don't work. If the shit is real, I'ma rap about the shit. If I've been through it, I'ma rap about it. What do you do when you got your little gimmicks and the shit get corny, you fucked up in the game? I'm still down, son. Let me do my kind.
Biggie Smalls was one of the first artists who got signed to Bad Boy Records as soon as it launched in 1993. 4 years later, he was dead, murdered in a drive-by shooting just like Tupac 6 months earlier.
The police department continues to investigate the murder of the Notorious B.I.G., who died in a drive-by shooting early Sunday morning in Los Angeles.
As at the top of this hour, new court documents show that Dwayne "Keefy D" Davis accused hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs of paying $1 million for the killing of rap icon Tupac Shakur. According to the court documents, Davis claims Combs paid Eric Von Martin the money. He also says that Combs offered to set up a phone call with Terrence Brown, who was the driver of the car that rolled up next to Shakur and Suge Knight on September 7th, 1996, near the Strip. Now, Davis said,
you know, there was the rumor that after Pac got killed, Puffy gave Zip $1 million.
So do you think Puffy was involved in the shooting?
Only they can answer that question.
Right.
I have my own opinion, but I wouldn't slander their name like they did mine.
Right.
I wouldn't say things that I knew, you know what I mean? I believe so. I do believe so. I have proved things that I could say that will back up my claim, but this is not for the world to know about. You know what I mean? It's between me and him, and only he knows.
But Tupac and Biggie's death isn't the only one that got Diddy wrapped up in a controversy. Remember when Kim Porter died of pneumonia in 2018?
Body found after a desperate call to 911.
EMS 14 respond with engine 76 on scene of the cardiac arrest.
Tonight, Kim's untimely death raising questions and sending shockwaves through Hollywood.
In Los Angeles, emergency dispatch was reportedly called to Porter's home to treat a patient in cardiac arrest. Although a cause of death has yet to be determined, Kim had reportedly been suffering from pneumonia for several weeks.
Well, a lot of people thought that was pretty suspicious.
She was really good friends with Kim Porter, who was Diddy's wife. The one who died at 47 from pneumonia. And I was like, that's
what they
when
said.
that happened, she goes, she called me, and this was, a couple of years ago now. Maybe not even. A couple of years ago. And she called me like, something's up with that. I go, what do you mean? She's like, oh, dude, Kim used to tell me like, it was a bad, like there was a lot of weird shit that I didn't even know that like.
It's been long suspected since it happened, since she died in, I would say, rather mysterious circumstances, that Diddy had something to do with the death of his ex-partner and the mother to his children, a woman named Kim Porter. Now, what happened was she mysteriously died of pneumonia at the age of 47. Not the typical way that a 47-year-old goes out, especially just when they are about to publish a tell-all book on their very famous ex, Diddy.
Kim knew why he was using the butt plug. Man, Kim probably told all that in her book. You understand? That Up and Got Missing the day she died.
Speaking of Kim Porter, I'll be sure her ex and baby daddy also mysteriously fell into a coma for several months back in 2022, and barely Lung Federation's annual fundraising gala, Al B sure made some explosive statements, calling for an investigation into the death of his ex, Kim Porter, and even hinting at a possible link between Diddy and his coma episode. There's no way to talk about the Diddy curse without also mentioning Shine, the former Bad Boy artist who was arrested and sentenced to 10 years in prison for a 1999 nightclub shooting in New York City. Yeah, the same shooting that almost implicated Diddy and Jennifer Lopez.
I remember when Shine came home from jail. They released Shine, right? And then they deported him to Belize, said he couldn't come back to the United States. So he goes back to Belize. And do you remember when Def Jam signed him to a record deal? They gave him what, $8 million? How much?
L.A. Reid gave him $1 million.
All right, so L.A. Reid gave him $1 million to put out an album, and the album never came out. I knew that when L.A. Reid went to give him that $1 million, that was Puff giving him the money, but he had to give it through L.A. Reid. They never intended on giving him an album. If they would have gave him $1 million for an album, wouldn't we have heard the album?
When I was a 18-year-old kid, just wanting to do nothing other than make my mother proud and make Belize proud and do what all of us want to do, be recognized for our talent and take over the world. I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison. So that is the context by which you must always describe that relationship. Yes, I forgave, I moved on, but let us not pretend as if I was in Miami for Thanksgiving and Christmas and that.
Apart from Shine, there have been other cases involving Diddy's artists and associates who have either been shot, died of natural causes, or sent to prison for various crimes. The big question now is Diddy really cursed? And if he is, who is he bringing down with him next? Guess we'll have to wait to find out.